Sisu Nation, what's happening? Got a few people filing in here. Welcome. My name is Mac Hill, Director of Community here at Sisu. I'm going to go ahead and get a few things set up, if y'all don't mind bearing with me to make sure all of our settings are correct here. Let me get my colleague Francis promoted to panelist. She's going to help me out with some questions. And of course, we have a very special guest today. Welcome. All right, Francis, welcome. And the man of the hour, Barry Jenkins. Welcome, sir. I've got a good group tuning in here today on Zoom. Awesome. Love to see it. Barry, you bring the audience here, man. You got quite the following, and it's good to have you. Good to have you here with us.
My pleasure. It's just because nobody ever knows what I'm really going to say once we go live. I'm just kidding.
I don't even know what you're going to say.
There you go.
Awesome, gang. So let me just make sure we're working properly here on Zoom. If y'all wouldn't mind dropping a message into the chat. Attendees can chat with everyone. Let's make sure that we're working. Can you all hear us loud and clear? Let's see. Hello, Platinum Partners. What's happening? All right, we've got Bevan, Chantel, Zach, Mike, John, Jordan, Joshua. Why don't y'all, while I get the Zoom stream to Facebook set up, why don't y'all let us know where you're joining us from? I'd love to get a feel for which markets people are tuning in from. And Barry, where are you located again?
Virginia Beach, Virginia.
And we got people from all over the place. Got a couple other beach locales in Florida, St. Petersburg and Jacksonville, Amanda and Samantha, Illinois, Boston, Atlanta. Represent, go Braves, John. That's what's up. All right. Getting us streamed to our Sisu Facebook group. So give me just a moment to get that going. Then we'll be ready to rock and roll, Barry.
Okay, no problem.
All right, getting it set up. Got it. Awesome. San Diego. I do love me San Diego.
Yeah, San Diego is really pretty.
Yeah, something about the weather there. Apparently it never changes.
Yeah.
I'm a little envious of. All right, we should be live on Facebook. Welcome, Sisu Nation. We're live in the Sisu Mastermind. For those of us joining us on Zoom, we always stream this live in our Facebook group each week, every Wednesday at noon Eastern, 10 a.m. Mountain Time. I like to bring in special guests each and every week. This week, I'm very fortunate to have our dear friend Barry joining us. Thank you, Barry, for taking time out of your busy schedule. So, a few housekeeping items to kind of get out of the way with. Barry, one of the things that we've been, talking about a lot, hyping up a lot, that we're super excited about here at Sisu is RAIN, our conference here. And my understanding, you are a speaker there.
Yes.
So, I'm curious to get your thoughts. Do you have any thoughts on what you're going to talk about then and there? And also, what are you excited about for RAIN?
Yeah. I mean, I gave a list of like 4 different things that I could talk about. I think the one that I'm most excited about is the transaction management component of the platform. And the reason why I say that is there's so much data being shared during a transaction. And honestly, we're just wasting it as business owners because it's not getting anywhere that does anything. And so as I began to walk out the platform as far as the transaction management, it really has boosted our ability to pull ROI reporting, vendor relationships, stuff that I normally would kind of shoot from the hip, kind of like make a judgment call. And just by having my team use a different platform for transaction management, which was Sisu, I just enriched all my data. And so I think that there's a lot that I think a lot of people that have Sisu, they bought it for one of many reasons, because you guys do a lot of stuff. But I think a lot of people are afraid to make the jump for transaction management. Normally it's because they don't want to make their TC mad. And it's like, oh, I don't want to upset them. I need them to be happy and all that stuff. And, to be able to have, to make that decision, it really has helped the business a lot. And then you guys launched the client portal. So because I was using transaction management, we had long lists of tasks in the thing. And so now the client portal is reading those tasks and showing them to my clients. So we send that portal and we say, hey, if you want to see where we're at in the transaction, all you got to do is look at that portal. And it doesn't cost me, like, it's there. You know what I mean? We're already using transaction management. So it really worked.
Awesome. Yeah. I think that that is a challenge that we've seen is, Sisu historically has done an exceptionally good job of, bringing in data, presenting it in a way that helps business owners really become better leaders. And, over the past year, really, it's been built out in a way to help better facilitate transactions, help teams operationalize things more seamlessly through how we integrate with everyone. And I think that there's a lot to explore and unpack there. And hopefully at Rain, we'll be curious to hear specifically what you're doing. I think we can probably touch on some of that a little bit in this session, but we don't want to spoil everything at the event. And we did put something together because we want to make sure we're taking care of those people that are fans of yours, and of course our clients as well. So I'll let Francis drop the details in here, but basically we have a promo for those of you that are joining us today for Rain tickets, and it's going to expire on Sunday, August 21st, right at midnight on Pacific time. So it's 50% off tickets with the promo code Barry Webb, and we want to make sure we're taking care of our people. And again, we're just excited to have a lot of incredible speakers such as yourselves talking about the things that they're doing to drive massive results in their business. So, speaking of massive results, I don't want to assume that everyone knows who you are in detail. So maybe would you just start by sharing, a little bit about your business, your production, maybe how long you've been in the business, and then maybe a bit of your staff and agent overview as well.
Sure. So I started in the business when I was 18. I'm 42. So that's like a lot of years. And, I grew up with a computer and the internet in my room. So like my vantage point is I grew up with tech, but I'm 42. And so for me, optimizing my business is very important. We do between 800 and 900 transactions a year. We've got anywhere from 60 to 70 agents. They're broken up into subdivisions, and we have them broken up in divisions within our Sisu platform as well. And trying to think what your other question was. So we've got 5 ISAs, and we have 3 transaction managers, all in the Philippines. And my executive assistant is also in the Philippines. And trying to think, was that the only, did you ask anything else?
Yeah, mostly staff, because I think, right, people start to, have ambition as they grow their real estate business, right? And, you can get 100, 200 sides, with modest growth and, sort of the fundamentals, maybe having an assistant, an additional agent, someone to help with conversion and transactions. But, I kind of wanted to, help people visualize, what all goes into an organization that produces at the level you're at. So, that's really good insight. And how did you lean into and identify these virtual assistants? Was that a program, or did you have relationships over there? I'm always a little curious about that.
Yeah.
It's not a world I'm familiar with.
Right. Well, with what I work with at Wailopo so I'm also the head realtor in residence at Wailopo. And, I've watched them leverage the offshore team for lots of stuff. So I began to be exposed to kind of that work environment through my role at Ylopo. And so then I just started to interview and the best advice I can give, I think when someone buys Sisu, they bought it for like one or two reasons. And then, you see someone like mine and all the dashboards are all filled in and all the transactions are listed and we have tasks for everybody. And you're like, wow, I wish one day I could do that. Well, it's been like 5 years I've been using the platform. And basically what I would do is I would kind of quasi obsess about one problem at a time. So if something was stressing me out or distracting me or frustrating me, or if it was broken, I figured out how to make it to where I don't want to use the limited capacity I've got in my brain to remember that you drop your EMD check off after the contract is ratified. Like, I don't want to use this for that. So what can I do systematically to where I'm not having to do the reminder, or I'm not having to manage the agent and their ability. And man, with my job, so I've got, 2 full-time jobs basically that kind of works synergistically. And the agent management component, if I have ISAs setting the appointments, it's not it's not something I'm not watching which agent had the most appointments this week because somebody else is setting the appointments. Appointment met is insanely important for us. And so I've created all this stuff to where, the agents are having to provide my VAs an update when we set an appointment. And the way that we do it is we have a Sisu link to the transaction, which, by the way, for those of you that aren't savvy with Sisu speak, when I say transaction, that's actually just a lead. That's a person. And I'm not talking about a real estate transaction. They call all the people transactions. So that link to that transaction, and then the ISA fills out all the data about the appointment, what their average search price is, and those are the fields that they fill in, and their bonus on appointment met. That's how I bonus them, is every time, and so to have a team of salespeople being managed by this operation so that I can go focus on other stuff. It's been huge. It's been huge. And I've been able to pull Sisu up. I know I'm just rambling, but I'm having fun. I pull Sisu up and, I'm able to actually make some decisions on ROI. No, transaction. When I say transaction management, I actually mean real estate transaction. Okay is asking about,
Yeah.
transaction.
And that's actually kind of brings up another good point, Barry, is, I view you as a real estate tech guru, right? You mentioned, being, involved in Ylopo. Maybe provide a bit of an overview of your tech stack, right? Okay. What that looks like. And, it's awesome to hear that you've got some refined processes and, you're focusing on appointment met, which I think is crucial. I'd like to kind of dig into when you made the shift to that focus too. But, I'd love to maybe start by just kind of overviewing what the tech stack looks like. How are you bringing in new opportunities to the business, the system to help manage those opportunities? At what point does it shift over to Sisu to start the transaction? Maybe just paint the picture for us so they can understand a little bit when we start to talk more in detail about this.
All right. So get a pen, get it to write with. No, I'm just kidding. All right. So consumer activity, right? So people looking to buy or sell a home. That is the gasoline that fuels my business. So we use Ylopo for new leads and running ads to the current leads we have in our database. The only other lead source we get right now is ZBuyer. We get their seller leads, and so we're bringing in, and then I've got a database size in my follow-up boss, which is our CRM, of about 154,000 people, and we're running ads to all of them. When those people respond to the ads and they, save a home or share a home, they get put in specific smart lists based on, the stage. For example, if it's a lead stage, that means we've never spoken to this person. So just as an example, website activity works and it revives an old lead, we move it to what's called like ISA list number 1. And so we're working old leads like new leads because they're recently active. And then the smart lists sync two-way with Mojo Dialer. So because there's so many people that are active on our site, it's difficult for an ISA to go one by one and burn through that list. And so what's cool about the Mojo integration is that it integrates with Sisu. So the dials that my ISAs are making in Mojo filter into the reporting inside of Sisu. So I know my ISA's dial amounts and stuff. And then any notes they make inside of Sisu, inside of Mojo, go to Follow Up Boss and Sisu. So then we also use call action in a big way. What I really like about call action is I've got probably 30 like different scenario drip campaigns, and you can schedule. So let's say I'm talking to Mac and I say, hey, Mac, no problem. You want to buy next year because your wife's having a baby. How about I reach out in 6 months? Well, I can go into call action, schedule a text in 6 months that says, Mac, how's the baby? And then I can also schedule a drip campaign to start 10 minutes later around the scenario of saving for a down payment. So what we've done is by the ISAs just constantly getting responses, adding drips and filtering, it creates a waterfall of activity. And so the ISAs are working all the leads. They're prospecting all day. And then when they set an appointment, the lead is assigned to like a group inside of Follow Up Boss, and the appointments are actually round robin. After the appointment, they get a text message from that company, OSIRS, or whatever, .co. There's no M, because if there was an M, it wouldn't be cool. So it's OSIRS.co. And they sent a text to my agent, hey, how'd the appointment go? Reply back 1 if you met them, 2 if you didn't. Reply back 1 if it's hot, 2 if it's cold, 3, and so then what happens is the agents are being monitored. And if they don't respond to the text, a tag is added by OSIRS that says appointment update incomplete. And I've got my VAs with a smart list that's looking for that tag. And so every day they go in, they go through, and they're like, oh, John, why didn't you respond to the appointment? What happened? What else? So then when the lead becomes important to us, we change the stage, we set an appointment, we automatically send that contact to Sisu. And then because we're slowly integrating Sisu forms more and more into our processes, I actually, after we create the record, the contact record, which is called a transaction, I then send the link to the forms into Follow Up Boss. So we've got a ratified contract form, an ISA appointment set form, a listing form, and those are added as custom fields on the left-hand side of Follow Up Boss. And the reason for that is I want my ISAs and my agents using those links to fill in the data to serve my business. Let's see. Once the contracts are ratified, the appropriate, so I'm using, I think it's status. It's not stage. I think it's status in Sisu for where the transaction is at in the process. And so when we ratify a contract, the transaction is, if the person's not already in Sisu, we add it. If they're already in Sisu, then we give the home address that they're buying, the closing date, the purchase price, all that data flows in there. And because Sisu is looking for a specific status, like ratified contract status, as soon as that status comes in, a list of tasks come up, and they're all populated for my transaction manager. I could keep going, but
I think it's great, right? So There was a good question that came in, kind of going back to the source of the database size. I'm assuming Ylopo, for those of you unfamiliar, Ylopo is an IDX website, and they really thrive with their digital advertising. So the top of funnel lead generation to bring in new leads to the Ylopo site, and the site works to convert those into actual contacts. And then once you have your database of contacts, they have a nice remarketing tool that continues to follow them based on their behavior on the Ylopo website to keep them engaged, right? So that's the strategy of continuing to stay in front of and engaged with your database, which I think is a key piece of, really growing and having a sustainable database that will build and keep a real estate business running for a long time.
Absolutely.
And Follow Boss is the source of truth for all of your client communication, your segmentation of your database based on maybe different areas or where they are in the buy-sell process, time wise, et cetera. And then you've got some ancillary tools to help with a lot of the the follow-up, right? You've got Mojo to pound through those lists of leads in the different segments for your ISA team so they can be more efficient.
Right.
You've got call action with your text automation follow-up, and I would assume some source tracking, for call-ins and such.
Yeah, we definitely have the source tracking. And with call action, one of the things I like about it is I can just create a lot of scenario specific. So one, we set an appointment, the lead doesn't answer the phone. So we created a missed appointment drip that has an 82% response rate. So the agent calls, they miss it. Instead of hounding them, they just drag and drop. Hey, I know we had a call scheduled today. Life happens. Wanted to get you back on the schedule to talk about your real estate needs. And it just keeps going for a week, and it just kind of, there were some questions here too.
Yeah. Oh, there's a lot of questions, and this is great, y'all. I want to make sure, my whole goal with hosting these, especially our client spotlights for our Sisu Mastermind Lives, is to provide an opportunity for our guests to ask these client power users, these real estate tech gurus such as Barry, great questions that they can answer and provide clarity into ways that you can continue to improve your business through technology, which is my focus, obviously. So let's get through those questions. And I certainly had some outline questions, but I'm not married to that at all, Barry. I want to make sure we're focusing on what's most valuable to our audience here. So anything that jumped out at you that you want to kind of address first and foremost, or do you want me to kind of?
Oh, no, yeah, I got it. So Bruce's question is really good. He's like, okay, look, like he didn't put it this way. He's like, great. Okay, Barry's got it going on. I'm starting out. What do I do? Right. Yes. And what I would tell you, and this is true of all technology, Bruce, I want you to start with the problem that you're trying to solve first, and then it's easy. The problem comes in when you see, so let's say you weren't a Sisu user and you're watching me talk about how I'm using Sisu, and you're like, oh, Barry sells a lot. He uses Sisu. I'm going to use Sisu. Well, I get it. Success leaves clues, and I understand that, but you can't buy software without knowing what the intended use is. And so what I would recommend you do is I would pick a problem. We all have lots of problems in our business and ways of streamlining it. So, maybe for you, it's agent management. Maybe you and 3 other agents need to be held accountable for your calls. Okay, learn how to do that with Sisu, right? Or maybe it's lack of follow-up with past clients. Okay, what can you do for that system or automation or process? So start with your problems and then reverse engineer it. And I've been doing this for 7 years, and eventually the dividends of those automations and those processes begin to compound. And now 6 or 7 years later, I'm able to have all these different jobs and roles because I'm only doing the things that only I can do. Like I couldn't have my VA do this webinar. That would be weird, right? But I can do the webinar. Mac would be like, what's going on? All right,
this
so
isn't Barry.
yeah.
And I can provide just a little commentary too, to go along with that, right? You want to be very, when you purchase a piece of technology for your business, it's an investment. You're creating a partnership with that organization. So, you want to be identifying good partners in the valuation process too. But the key to anything is the adoption and getting it set up and running. So, and to Barry's point, success leaves clues. Once you identify that problem and start to evaluate different solutions to help with that problem, from there you can start to identify the people within these networks, because really any technology vendor nowadays is working to build community and bring others that have learned how to leverage that system and get tips and tricks and implementation guidance from them as well. And I think that's key. If you're not adopting a piece of technology, then it's a huge just loss on your expense report, right? So
Exactly.
I feel very strongly about that. Like, you got to be committed. And if it's not you within your business, who's going to be the person that can help handle it, right? So that's also something to figure out as well.
Yeah. And I mean, when I hired my first assistant, I was so nervous. I did, I think 10 hours a week, and I had her sit at vacant houses waiting for the power and the water company to, because it was a lot of REOs at the time. And I said, if she can do that and I can sell one house a month, I'll have like a 300% ROI on this decision. And of course, like it worked really well. And then she just got so busy that she went full time. And then I had to get an assistant for her. And then it just kept going. And I've never stopped. And for me, when you hire someone that sits at a computer all day, you are able to get a lot of really great systems and operations set up. It's a different function if you're at houses and at your desk and doing this and all this other stuff, but somebody who just literally sits at a computer all day long and does what you've told them to do, it's incredible. And I found all my VAs on the website onlinejobs.ph, and it's the Wild West. You're going to get a lot of horrible resumes when you do a job posting. I'm just letting you all know ahead of time, and you're going to have to do your own vetting. We use Time Doctor to manage our VAs. There's two versions. We use the second version. Takes a picture of their screen every like 10 seconds, monitors their mouse movement, what it categorizes the websites that they're on all day. Like, if they can't get away with cheating me, and because of Time Doctor, and I don't know why I went down that road, but oh well.
No, I think it's good to point that out as well. And I asked about it earlier. It's like, how do you go? I know that there are other businesses in the real estate world that are kind of committed to helping staff, generally Philippine-based VAs for different roles as well. I'm sure that there are some decent businesses out there. I think
Sphere Rocket, I've heard good things about.
Yeah, I've heard Sphere Rocket, and then what is it? Craig Goodliff, Cyberbacker. There are certainly some good options there to consider. But I think to your point, Barry, you may have to sift through it, but there's no go between. You pay direct, you create relationships with them because they're tied to your business. They're not tied to one of the businesses you're essentially contracting. So
that's exactly right. And look, $4 to $5 an hour in the Philippines, that's a decent work from home job. Like, they're really thrilled with that. And what you find is when you use a third party to manage the VAs, you're typically, you're paying $1,500, $2,000 a month for somebody that's full time, $500 a week. That's like double. It's like $10 or $11 an hour. Like, you literally are doubling. And then I hired a quality assurance person in the Philippines. All they do all day long is tell my VAs, they're like, hey, you made a mistake, you need to fix this. And then my assistant is an attorney in the Philippines, and he's $9 an hour. And he's more of like a project manager. I can just give him things. And so those were really key hires that freed me up even more. And this is as recent as like 6 or 7 months ago.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's brilliant. Just a couple questions specifically around Mojo. Brad asked, does each ISA have a separate Mojo account and you all work out of one?
I have two triple line and one single line dialer in Mojo.
Okay.
Mojo's expensive. It's
Yeah.
like $150 a line or something. And so I decided I wouldn't buy 5 for prospecting, because part of the ISA's day is spent in call action, doing click to call inside of Follow Up Boss, just going through the list and one by one doing it. But when you get to a list of 1,000 people, you need people prospecting. We also do expires and FSBOs inside of Mojo, and we get that data from Redex, and we send Redex data into Mojo. And then when the ISA is on the phone in Mojo and says this is a good one, then it's automatically added to Follow Up Boss. Yeah, so.
Got it. And then Lisa asked if CMA and Legion is handled through Mojo. Barry, correct me if I'm wrong, but I assume the call Legion, the calling of contacts is handled through Mojo, obviously, but it's probably a combination of Legion through Walopo's retargeting, Follow Up Bosses, texting or call actions, texting capabilities, email through Follow Up Boss or Walopo. Probably a mix of each.
Yeah, exactly. And look, and let me break this down for an individual agent. With Mojo, I can call 3 people at a time. So I can breeze through a couple thousand people a day. And you record 2 messages. One is when 2 people answer at the same time. So if 2 people answer at the same time, I'm talking to one. The other person gets a, hey, I wanted to see if you were home. I'm going to call you in a little bit message. So they get that. But then everybody else that doesn't answer, when their voicemail pops up, that second message, hey, this is Barry calling about your home search, whatever I want to say, is automatically dropped once the voicemail prompt shows up on the phone. So as an individual agent, you can breeze through a list of thousands of people, and you don't have to leave voicemails, which is exhausting all day. It's easy to not get distracted. There's a mobile app. So that would be a way for you to leverage yourself without having to make a bunch of hires. As an individual agent, no one's going to care as much as you do. And so anything you can do to duplicate yourself so that you can be selling even more, do that until you hit another roadblock, which is, even with all the leverage, I can't handle anymore. Then you bring on a buyer's agent or a listing agent, and you can have them work the stuff that you don't want to mess with.
Yeah, that's awesome. The questions are coming in fast and furious, Barry, and I want to focus on them before I get to any more of the things that I've outlined as well. Contract info from zip form, .loop, etc., directly or manual input. So, I'm guessing, okay, you're asking once appointment is met, you get them under contract. What is that? You're feeding them into Sisu at that point through an intake form, and that's what triggers the task list for the transaction. Is that automated through Follow Up Boss?
So we have a legacy process that we haven't gotten rid of yet, that we're working towards it, but we're still using Jotform. We've been using that for like 7 years now. So the agent, when they ratify, well, hold on, let me start over. I encourage my agents to write offers in our MLS system because the data automatically transfers. But we have a lot of agents that do not know what they're doing. They got an appointment and the person wants to buy a house. 2 Saturday evening calls happened in a row one weekend where the person's like, I'm only licensed 3 days and I'm writing an offer, which is a great problem. But what we did was we took a Jotform and literally mapped out every question in the contract. And then we take that data. So for an agent that doesn't know what they're doing, they can just answer the questions on the form, hit submit. That data merges with a PDF and then gets uploaded to DocuSign, and it's just waiting with all the initials dragged and dropped. Those are training wheels. We don't necessarily, I'd rather, it's actually really expensive to keep that going. And so I'd rather get rid of it, to be honest with you. But web merge, Leslie, is the form to fill the contract. It's horrible to use and really expensive. So you're welcome.
Yeah, and certainly a possibility, right? So a lot of others, from a Sisu perspective, depending on their CRM and the integration that whether it's direct or There's some middleware to
Right.
facilitate that. Often there's some triggers in the CRM where if you move them to a specific category in your CRM, or a tag is under contract, that is sort of the pull call that pulls some of the essential data into the Sisu intake form, which are fully customizable to your business. And agents can go in and submit the additional information to get things rolling. And depending on whether it's buy, sell, if there's any special circumstances, it can be tied to, the form can be tied to a specific list of transactions as well. So, a lot of flexibility there, and y'all, I want to call something out, if you're having hesitation about like really evaluating your technology stack and, concerned about the work that goes into implementing even some of the systems that Barry's talking about. And again, approach it from a problem solving standpoint. I don't know if y'all caught this. An agent had someone under contract within the first 3 days in your organization, right, Barry? I mean, that is speed to efficiency, right? Any organization, if you're bringing in a new hire, whether it's an agent, the more you can do to minimize the time in which they become efficient in their role, the better you're doing as a business leader. So I think that's just like a perfect, very subtle, almost humble brag, Barry, of like, you got this guy, this girl coming in 3 days, they're rocking and rolling. They got someone under contract to be. So
yeah, I mean, and it's interesting, Mac. I didn't really think about it until you said it, but because I have to devote my focus, Ylopo is it's like a job. You know what I mean? Like they're paying me to do a job, and I had to figure out how to keep my business going without actually being involved. And so all of these little things that I'm doing are just examples of things that drew me away from something else I wanted to work on. So yeah, I don't know why. I just felt like I want to make sure everybody knew that it just takes time as you're walking it out.
Yeah, it does. Rome wasn't built overnight, right?
Yeah, there you go.
That's the saying. I always screw sayings up. I love them and hate them.
Yeah, no. I if you were wrong, I didn't notice it. So let's see. Phone number showing up as spam almost always. That's a problem. That's an iOS 9, 10, 11, 12, and even more 15. Like basically, cell phone companies now look at your phone number the same way email companies look at your emails. So in the same way you have to worry about spam and email reputation, all of those learnings that you have, apply them to cell phone numbers, because that's the world you live in now.
Yep.
What we do is our follow-up boss company number is like 650-5059. And when we're calling or texting, we have the ability in follow-up boss to choose that number. So we're all texting from that number. We're all calling from that number. In Mojo, you choose your caller ID. We use our company number. And follow-up boss, what it does is let's say the phone number is 757-234-4444, when that person calls the company number, it automatically routes to the assigned agent. So if the agent is Michael Williams and the lead has that phone number, Michael Williams' cell phone is going to ring. It's a really cool feature within Follow-Up Boss. And then you can groupthink your phone number reputation. Another thing you can do is send a text message that says who you are and who you're with. If you do that, and then you call from that same number a little bit later, the phone will ring. Instead of just saying spam, it'll ring and it'll have parentheses, maybe, and then whatever name you gave when you sent the text.
Like that. Love that.
I get this question a lot, actually. Do your VAs call your prospects? Do you ever have any issues with accents? So, yeah, definitely. I'll share two sides to this. My transaction managers are in the Philippines, and one of them met with a new agent a couple of weeks ago to go over the transaction management process. And the agent said, oh, I can't wait to meet you at the next party or whatever. And the woman said, her name's Jez. She says, oh, I'm in the Philippines. And she had no idea. She had no idea. Okay. So you can get that there, but let me offer a different suggestion when it comes to VAs and ISAs. I had in-house American ISAs that got really good, ended up becoming agents. I would do the same thing. I'm not mad at them. And so finding like a really good closer ISA, I just got tired of looking. And so I decided, what is another way to solve the big problem of getting appointments for my agents without having to hire talent? And what I decided to do was I've got this group of people that speak English clearly. They're not closers, but they using technology can make a lot of outbound outreach. And all they're doing is, do you want to buy or sell a home? You should talk to an agent. When can we call you? That's it for $3 to $5 an hour. That's it. That's all they do. And that's an efficiency play. And then my agents, I'm training them to deal with objection handling and all that stuff. So it's a lower rate of pay. And as a result, it's a lower rate of scope of work.
Yep.
Yeah.
And this is, kind of, we're coming full circle a little bit. This is where the appointment met metric becomes such a crucial, and why it's important for your agents. And I think, this may be a good kind of segue too, because Leslie asked, she wants to hear more specifically what you're using Sisu for. And I think we've touched on it a little bit, right? But this is a big part of it too. Sort of the original iteration of Sisu, the sales performance dashboards and insights into that side of the business, along with ROI tracking and your transactions that you mentioned, Barry. But maybe talk to us a little bit about sort of.
Can I share my screen?
Yeah.
I'm a visual person, so I'm just going to assume that.
Is that option available to you?
It is, yeah. I was just asking for permission.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, not my show, buddy. You're the boss. All right. So a couple of things we really like using Sisu for. One is the goal calculator. So every year we meet with the agents, and the average sales price is around 300,000. We have their splits. Appointment set to appointment met percentage is closer to 20% for buyers. Conversations to appointment set, let's see, it's actually really high because we're using ISAs. Okay, so let's just quickly, and if they want to make $100,000 this year, and then what it does is it shows the person every month they need to meet with 4 of the leads we set appointments for. If they do that based on the law of averages and the percentages, they'll close 2 a month. Based on the average sales price and team splits, they'll make 8,300. So then what we do is we save these goals. These goals, then when the agents log in, they're able to actually see. Sorry, the internet's going slow. They're able to see so these are one of our team's goals. And but they're able to see how they're measuring up, if they're not on pace, if they're on pace, if their goals achieved. And so that's a really cool thing that we do. Another thing that we do, well, so here's the task manager. Let me show his chest. So this is the other thing that, so you can see, it's just a really, really neat how it all, so we've got Donna M. Smith Trust is a seller. We are in the PICRA ratified awaiting appraisal. And you can see all these tasks and all these transactions. And if I drill down into one of them, I can get a lot of information about the tasks that have been completed. I can also get the client portal. If I want to look at the transaction form, this is what, well, they actually do the ISA appointment set. You can make your own forms. And so I made one for my ISAs. They put the transaction amount, the GCI, and then they messed up on this one. And then that's what the agent's going to take home is the 3,900. You notice we are uploading PDFs to the transaction, the real estate transaction. And that's because eventually I want to get rid of brokerment for my broker's compliance, but that's a whole nother journey that I just haven't had time to mess with. So by doing this data, so remember, the big idea here is I'm leveraging the transaction management piece of the platform to help inform different parts of my business. So here's one of them, the agent accountability. So this is actually something Brian took me through that was really timely because it's a shifting market and it's all about priorities. You know, who do you prioritize and why? And man, my internet sure is.
And this is, this is the drawback of technology, Barry, right? Whenever you're on the spot and you want something to appear and work as you hope it would, it's going to freeze up on you. Just the way of the world, my friend.
I know, it's crazy. All right, so here we go. So, there's lots of numbers here, but I really wanted to get into the agent accountability screen. So basically what happens, each agent has their own numbers and leads. And next to the leads, so anybody that is unconverted, not in a real estate transaction that is owned by the assigned agent. So let's say Chris Martin will we'll log in together and we'll see maybe 15 people that are his agent accountability hot list inside of Sisu. And because the commission numbers have been added since day one, right when the person was added, we put the average purchase price. He can actually see a total of all the commission that he's going to make after splits. This is very important from an agent motivation standpoint because they're hearing more no's right now. And so I need to get them to kind of put blinders on and can you just focus on the 15 people that are in this list? Like, don't get distracted. Don't think about the economy. Just focus on your 15. If you focus on your 15, you're going to make $60,000 in the next 4 months. Don't get distracted. So that's a big one for us. Let's see what else. There's other things that we're using it for. ROI reporting.
Yeah.
So you're able to put, and you get cost per closing. So if what it does is it says, okay, you had 3 closings, which by the way, I feel like I'm overwhelming. But anyway, basically I'm a Realogy owned firm, Better Homes and Gardens. Well, I went to Sisu and asked, hey, we have to use this software for the mothership to get their franchise fees. It's called Dash. And so I went to Sisu and said, hey, can I take the data from Dash and backfill all the data in my transactions? And so every month, all this really rich data of who got which money and when backfills and augments what I've already been working on, right? Because we've already created the transaction. So it just kind of, they all just layer on each other so that you can make educated decisions about your business.
Yeah, have real-time insights into the numbers of your business, which I think is extremely powerful. And, I think it's timely too. You mentioned, kind of shifting focus a little bit. And it was one of the questions I had for you, kind of given some of the uncertainty and speculation surrounding what's going to happen with the real estate market, the shift. We've been talking about the shift for 2 years now. Going into the second half of 2022, what are you focusing on in your business, Barry? What are you guiding and coaching your agents on? Any tweaks or improvements to prepare for 2023? Just kind of curious to get your thoughts on this situation, how you might, kind of console or recommend things to others.
Yeah, absolutely. Before I share that, finally I got it to load and it was bothering me. So here's Chris Martin, right? And the last 30 days, he's had 11 appointments set, only one he's met. So that's obviously a problem. But he has signed 3 buyers and he put 5 under contract. That's not a problem. And his net is going to be $19,000 off of these 5 that he put under contract. And these are other buyers and seller leads that we've set appointments on. So his pipeline's like ridiculous, $137,000. And you can see there's a lot of zeros here. So we're not, this isn't perfect. None of it is, but you can also see appointment met, appointment set. And so, it's just a lot of data. Now, what was your question again? I forgot already.
I'm, kind of more speculative, and we don't.
Oh, the market.
Yeah. How are you preparing your business and preparing your agents? Anything different? Because
Oh yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, a lot different. Absolutely. There's less people looking to buy.
Yep.
So what we had to do was we had to learn how to talk to people and have a difficult conversation up front. In 2008, I lost my shirt. I lost all my money. The market crashed. And I said yes to anyone that was breathing and wanted to sell their house. Always. And Dale Archdeacon tells a very different story from Smart Inside Sales. He was trained to go over the value of the home, what they owe. Let's say they owe 300,000. I don't think I can sell it for more than 275. Do you have $25,000 to bring to the table to get the deal closed? So he's being picky. I'm taking everything. I went broke. He thrived. We're going to do the same thing now, right? There's going to be a lot of people that want to aspire to be able to buy that for whatever reason they can't. I need to have that difficult conversation up front. It's the compassionate thing to do.
Yep.
If they don't have any money saved, more than likely right now is not a good time. And so getting a shorter, refined list. And so instead of 50 people in your list, maybe you have 10. And instead of calling those 50 people, let's do 60 to make my math easier. You spend 1 minute per person. That's an hour of calling, right? So instead of having 60 people to call in an hour, you have 20. And instead of 1 minute per call, maybe now you're doing 3 minutes per call. You're investing a little bit more emotion, maybe into the voicemail. Maybe you're emailing after the call. Maybe you're sending content. You're having to bring more value to a smaller group of people. If you do this, this is what I promise you. Your business and your market share will increase significantly. You will grow when others are shrinking back. And not everybody's ready for this. Not everybody emotionally can handle going right when the rest of the market's going left. And I've already been through it once. And so I'm letting y'all know, shots fired. I'm ramping up my marketing, right? I'm like, let's go, let's do it. Let's keep, and I know it's going to work out. So yeah, that's what we're doing.
Awesome. Yeah. I think that's key, right? Especially for people in your position, right? You've got a large database already, so it's continued refinement, as you mentioned, right? What tools can you lean into that are going to get the right at bats for your organization? For those, and I think that this is counterintuitive for a lot of people, and you make a great point, Barry. People might see some uncertainty and say, well, I don't know if I want to really start investing in lead gen right now or building up my database. But, if everyone has that mindset, that to me says that there's a lot of opportunity for lower costs because you've got less competition in your marketplace, especially if you're looking at, some of the traditional lead sources, AdWords-based, Facebook lead, whatever it is. Right. You can get in there and start bringing them in, and you can get a lot of leads and opportunities, at cost, but, you got to generally have some systems in place to handle that type of lead volume. Right. And, this is, a shameless plug for Sisu, understanding, where your organization might be following to effectively convert, make sure that the activities are happening and be able to, correlate that to an ROI of your investment in that as well. So,
yeah. And when you're tracking, some of my agents are meeting with a lot of the leads that we're setting appointments, and they're consistently not selling them any houses, right?
Yeah.
Some of my agents are consistently not connecting with the appointments we set, right? And so as you measure your business through, Sisu and the reporting, you're able to provide specific relevant training to each person. So what I have my VA do, that agent accountability screen every month, he does a 2-minute loom for each agent and texts them. And I told him, I said, I don't need you to offer any suggestions. Just describe what the numbers say. I'll deal with the emotional. So if the agent sucks, I'll deal with that after they watch. I just want them to let the numbers speak for themselves. The rest of the team has an 80%. You've got 20%. If you'd like to talk to Barry about that, shoot him a text, right? Like, And so they're aware of what they're doing and they're not doing. We're able to provide relevant training through an unskilled assistant, right? Somebody in the Philippines. And that helps them to not function off of motivation. And I think this is the last thing that Sisu does. Sisu allows you to set goals. And I never was motivated by goals. Okay. I'm still not motivated by goals. The reason why goals are an important part of life are because there are going to be days that you're not motivated. And you're going to have to do things during the feeling of not wanting to. And goals help you to accomplish that. And so when you have, like we have TVs in our office with all the Sisu, it's the Sisu dashboard. Let me show that actually.
Yeah, while you pull that up, just a quick, we're about 5 minutes out to the hour mark. So if you have questions for Barry or I, shoot them in through the chat. We're keeping an eye. I've got a couple lined up. Bob, I saw you had a question, and in regards to the recording, Tiffany, yeah, absolutely. You know, I'll speak with Francis after the fact to see if we can send this out. But I would recommend just joining the Sisu Mastermind group on Facebook. It's streamed live there, and will live on indefinitely as a recording, and I'll pin it to the top of the group as well. And we'll try and do this more regularly. You know, try and get a client on once a month along with leadership and others. So yeah,
And
Barry,
so
back to you.
this is the dashboard display version. And you know, you can see this is the last 30 days well, this is a year-to-date number, but you know, you can see you know, each metric, and I can choose what to show and what not to show. But I can see in the last 30 days, you know, Diane closed 4 this month, Chris closed 3. So, you know, so it's really great to have the visibility of their organization, and no judgment. It's just the numbers are the numbers.
Yeah. And what kind of recruiting are you running where you're able to get the lead singer of Coldplay on your team? I mean, that's just incredible. Chris Martin,
No.
goodness gracious.
I know.
You got it locked in, Barry. All right, last few questions, and I'll let you get on out of here, Barry. And thank you again.
Yeah.
Well, this has been very insightful for me. I love learning from smart, successful people such as yourself. Bob asked how you're integrating Sisu with other systems, RealSync, Zap. I know Follow Boss. It depends.
Yeah.
There's some options.
I use Zapier. It's a really easy one-to-one Zap. And just a little tip, if I want to add a lead to Sisu and also have it show that they're under contract, the way that I do that is I just do the normal process of adding the lead. And then in the Zap where it says date under contract, I just put a date there. And because there's a date in date under contract, Sisu interprets that and says, this is pending, this is under contract.
Yep.
So for those of you that use Zapier, that is going to help you a lot. For those of you that don't, just don't worry about it. Go on Upwork. There's tons of Zapier, Zapier experts. Yeah,
definitely. Bob, our team could probably help. I think Bob's got a lot of stuff dialed in. I see you, Bob. Mike asked if Sisu is usable without a team.
Yeah,
I would say absolutely.
You need a transaction management platform.
Right.
You need something that reports for ROI. So yeah, you can use it.
And places you're recruiting agents from, real quick.
You know,
that could be a whole nother session.
Happy Grasshopper for email content. They do like they interview you and write content. So I do that. And then I'm not using them right now because I added like 15 agents, but Smart Setter worked out really well for us. Just an ISA company that calls local agents, and they're not great appointments, but that's exactly what I wanted because it's a 15-minute phone call appointment. You know, take the call, tell them about what I'm doing. And at the end, I just tell them, I'm looking for 3 more agents. I'm not going to call you anymore. If you want to join the team, please follow up with me. It's nothing personal. It's not that I don't want you. I just don't want to chase you. I'm looking for somebody that knows a good opportunity when they see it. Leave it at that.
Yeah.
And that's how I hired all of them. So
Perfect. Awesome.
right.
Let's see. Any last things that you want to share, Barry, before we go? I think I dropped the link. We're excited to have you at Rain. Incredible mind you've got going and building a real estate business. Plenty more to learn from you about. Anything else? Oh, where can people find and connect with you? And tell us about your book real quick, Barry.
TooNiceForSales.com. TOO niceforsales.com. Book sold like 5,000 copies. So it's, and I haven't really marketed it. So that's been really rewarding for me. And my advice for those of you that are on the fence with going to Rain, the conference for Sisu, I will tell you that connecting with agents that are already where I want to be. So I'm at a conference, the person's doing 200 million. I want to do 200 million and I'm doing 100. Sitting next to that person, having a drink, talking best practices. I'm letting y'all know right now, that is what catapulted my career over the last 7 years. Talking with people, thought leaders, and people that are looking at the business differently. And they're not in competition with me because they're in other parts of the country. Like, it's a big deal. So, it's not just come hang out and party, it's grow your business.
Oh yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And as the director of community, I'm inherently biased in regards to that answer. The more you get to spend time with other thoughtful business leaders that are maybe doing something just a little differently from you, or producing at a much higher level that you aspire to be at, those types of connections can become invaluable, and those networks that you can create at these events are valuable. And with Sisu, we're agnostic towards all the different networks and franchises and coaching orgs and CRMs that you're going to get a diversity of peoples that are all committed to growing and running a better real estate business. So I'm super excited with the speaker list we put together, Barry, and some of the activities that our team is planning out as well. So
yeah,
it's going to be a great event. We're super
excited. I agree. It's always a pleasure connecting with you, Mac.
Yeah,
you're doing a good job for what it's worth.
Thanks. Oh, I don't know about that, but I appreciate you, Barry.
Yeah, man. All right.
Friend. And thanks to everyone that joined us.
Day.
Join the Sisu Mastermind Live, and we will see y'all soon. Bye, everyone. Have a good one.